have tried to tell people to get outside, paint a rock, drop a fact sheet, leave a bracelet, just send a text message to somebody. I don't care. We have been called crazy. How many ways do you need to see the devil is standing right in front of you and you still can't see him? I don't know what else to do.
Ally Carter is done staying silent, and what she's saying now is deeply disturbing. Ally Carter has finally broken her silence, and she's not holding anything back. After staying completely quiet for months, she's come forward again, and what she's sharing is honestly terrifying. Right after Diddy's courtroom win, Ally popped up out of nowhere, and it's clear she's done being quiet. She's not sugarcoating a thing. According to her, the federal agents who were supposed to protect her actually worked to silence her. She says they deliberately hid the evidence she gave them. Not only that, she claims they put her into witness protection, not to keep her safe, but to make sure she couldn't talk to the media or the public. And when she finally tried to speak out again, she disappeared, completely wiped from the public eye.
As you guys are saying, I told you, the justice system is rigged. I don't know how many ways people need to say that, see it for themselves, research it, dig on it, and not understand that the justice system is rigged. And we've been saying that since the beginning. We went through court cases. We went through private investigators. This is how we have the insurance and the documents and the things and the receipts that we have, because we have been through this so many times before, where the victim is the one who gets the most hail and the predators walk. The amount of people that you've seen, I want you to stop and think about how many people were enabling this case, and how many times I have said the red and the blue side are guilty. If you are distracted right now by something as what an adult did, or you're fighting for an adult, then you weren't in the fight for the kids in the first place. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Now she's reappeared, and she's coming with new information. She's calling out people in high places and saying the entire investigation was rigged to protect powerful names, including Diddy. Even worse, she says the threats never stopped. While in witness protection, she still got warning messages. She says people told her to forget what she saw and to stop talking crazy. According to her, they labeled her as unstable so that her voice wouldn't matter in court. So how did things get this bad? Why does Ally believe the government turned on her? And who's behind all these threats?
When you look at the corruption, the FBI covered it up for how long? This case was back in 2000, early 2000, right? So let's talk about who's guilty here. The DOJ released a video that at first everybody said they couldn't find a video of Cassie Ventura being beaten. They couldn't find it, it didn't exist. You saw one clip, and then you saw DOJ release another clip to the news. So the DOJ had that clip to begin with. So the people who are telling you that they don't have the Epstein file, they're full of shit.
Let's back up for a moment and break it all down. First off, Ally Carter wasn't just someone talking online for attention. She was listed as victim 3 in the official case filed against Diddy. This wasn't gossip or rumor, her involvement was real, and it was documented. And her claims weren't just about wild parties or celebrity drama. She said she was trafficked through a system, a pipeline that involved powerful people and protected operations. She said this wasn't about one-time events. It was a network.
The cases aren't going anywhere. Whoever tried just got painted a target on it. And whoever lied was exposed. I am grateful for the amount of people that were exposed on this case. You've seen that the hotel manager is guilty. You saw the people who cleaned the sex toys were guilty. The bus that freaking transferred all these children were guilty. You saw people coming from left and right to tell you about the baby oil and everything else that they wouldn't tell you earlier because they kept it a secret all these years, and everybody that bowed down sign this man's paycheck. You feed that man from the entire time. It would enable trafficking. It's the same way people are using our pain right now. There's content creators that hate us, that want us tortured, that want us dead, and so many people are buying into it by hitting the like button. You're paying these content creators to create chaos, confusion, bullshit, lies, and on top of that, you're enabling trafficking, and you still don't see it. You want to argue, and people tell me all the time. I have gotten so many crazy ass messages that I don't care about.
A system that moved young women through exclusive parties, hotels, private jets, all controlled by people who knew what they were doing. And Ally didn't just hear about it. She says she lived it. But here's where things really took a turn. Ally didn't want to stay anonymous anymore. She dropped her fake name, something most survivors are too scared to do, and said she was ready to speak out in court. She didn't want to stay hidden. She was ready to testify. Then she vanished. Right before the trial picked up, she disappeared. But not by choice. According to Ally, she was taken straight into witness protection. And while some might think she got cold feet or backed out, she says that's not what happened. She was ready. She said it herself in interviews and on camera before she disappeared, "I want to speak. I'm not hiding anymore."
If you ever see a dead man switch come from us, you'll know that we're no longer on this world, because we'll tell you if you're watching this video it's because we're no longer here. And in that video, it will release everything unredacted. And after it releases everything, every single name, every single location, every single plate that we have, every place that we were trafficked, and when we tell you exactly when it's in that video, then insurance will just keep dropping from there. And I don't know, just to hand it around like candy. I have no idea what else to do with it because there's nobody to give it to. And as you can see that from the beginning.
And her importance in the case wasn't minor. Prosecutors even used parts of her statements during opening arguments in court. That shows they took her seriously. So why, then, didn't she testify? Why was someone whose words helped open the case suddenly silenced? Here's where it gets shady. Ally says the authorities ignored key evidence she gave them not because it wasn't useful, but because it was too useful. She claims her documents didn't just accuse Diddy. They pointed to a larger web of people, other celebrities, executives, and even political connections. She believes the prosecutors didn't want to deal with what her evidence would expose. It would have made the case much bigger, too big, too messy, and too dangerous. Ally says her evidence included flight logs, emails, hidden videos, and a list of other women involved. But suddenly, none of that evidence made it into the courtroom. Then, things got even worse. According to Ally, her house was broken into. She says armed men showed up, tore her home apart, and took her files. These weren't regular burglars, they knew exactly where to look. She says it wasn't just a break-in. It was a message. A warning to stay quiet. After the attack, Ally says her family had to run. That's when the government moved her into witness protection, not out of kindness, she says, but to control her. To keep her away from the trial and to make sure she stayed silent. And this wasn't just internet drama. We're talking real danger. Real violence. Ally says her house was destroyed, her documents were stolen, and her life was turned upside down. She even went live online, crying and showing the damage. And she didn't just say it, she showed proof. She showed video of the destruction and an empty lot where her house used to stand. She says she didn't run for attention. She ran because she feared for her life. She says she didn't just lose her privacy, she lost her home. Her family had to scatter. All while the trial moved forward without her. Then, after the trial ended and Diddy walked away without the most serious charges, Ally came back. She reappeared, furious and determined. She accused the prosecutors of letting Diddy go not because they didn't have enough evidence, but because they chose not to use the strongest stuff. She says they focused on the flashy details, the celebrity parties, the drama, and ignored the deeper, darker side of what really happened. Especially the parts involving underage girls and trafficking. She says the justice system didn't just fail her, it shut her out on purpose. And Ally didn't just make claims. She came with more receipts. She says she had hotel records tied to specific dates and names. She talked about camera angles and footage that had been recorded. She listed bodyguards and hotel workers who witnessed things and looked the other way. She pointed to old lawsuits from the early 2000s cases that were quietly settled or buried and said this has been going on for years. Ally believes the legal team cherry-picked what fit their version of the story. And when she refused to stay quiet, they erased her from the process. But even now, after the trial, she says the threats haven't stopped. She says her location was leaked by people with real power, not internet trolls, but insiders. She's accused certain influencers and online figures of being part of the smear campaign against her. She says they didn't just harass her, they helped cover up the truth. She believes they were part of an effort to protect someone bigger. To this day, she says she's being followed, watched, harassed online and in real life. She can't stay in one place. She can't use her phone without feeling like someone's listening. And every time she tries to go live or speak out, she says something strange happens right after. This isn't a story about a woman chasing fame. This is about someone who says she tried to speak the truth and got silenced for it. Whether you believe everything she says or not, one thing's clear: Ally Carter isn't backing down. And the details she's sharing now are raising more questions than ever. Now, let's be real for a second. Ally Carter never came out and directly said that Diddy sent those people after her. But what she does say loud and clear is that someone out there wanted to shut her up permanently. According to her, it all started the moment she spoke out. And from that day forward, she's been targeted, pushed into hiding, and stripped of her safety. But here's where things get even deeper, because Ally's not just talking about Diddy anymore. She's talking about the system that allowed this to happen. The system that doesn't just ignore survivors. It goes after them. She's saying that if you speak up against power, they don't just try to cancel you. They try to erase you completely. And before we end this video, there's one moment in Ally's story that really hit the internet hard. It wasn't just the files or the break-in or even the missing evidence. It was what she said to the people defending Diddy, especially those who justified everything because he's a father. Ally didn't hold back. She looked directly into the camera and said, "Y'all keep bringing up his daughters. But where was that same energy when I was a little girl and he hurt me?" That hit deep. She even brought up Cassie, reminding folks that Cassie was only 19 when everything began. Ally said, "The math is right there. Y'all just don't want to do it." She pointed out how the world protects celebrity fathers, while ignoring the young women they leave broken in their wake. She said, "You protect his daughters, but you ignore the ones he hurt." And honestly, that line right there? It's got people thinking. Because she's not just calling out Diddy, she's calling out all of us. The media. The fans. The people who pick and choose whose pain matters. Ally Carter didn't just come back to tell her side. She came back with fire, with evidence, and with a message that can't be ignored anymore. Whether you believe every part of her story or not, one thing is clear: this woman risked everything to speak out. And her voice deserves to be heard. So now I turn it over to you. What do you think? Was Ally silenced on purpose? Is Diddy just one piece of a much larger puzzle? And is the industry maybe even parts of the government protecting people we'll never see exposed?